All right, so I gotta share something with y'all. We're rocking and rolling, by the way. Everybody doing all right? Let's roll. Let's roll.
Hang on. Whoa. Hey, I'm talking to my friends. Y'all guys go downstairs.
Yeah, little pieces of shit.
Are you abusing children?
Go ahead, Joey.
All right, thanks, man. Hey, good job laying down the law, man. Good job.
Sure did.
I demanded, pleaded, called God on promises, and was like, "You have to show up, or I am done." And he did.
That's something to really think about. What does it mean that the God of the universe loves me?
Are we saying that our God is bigger than their God, or what?
Man, you got my mind going crazy right now.
I just think that is evangelical bullshit.
And I don't fit in their box anymore. So feeling rejected from the church makes me feel far away from God.
If I'm living out the love of God, love of the divine, then in some ways we're unoffendable.
It's wrong to marginalize anybody for any reason.
Sometimes we can just have some things about our perspective that's off until we encounter someone who can challenge our thoughts, have conversations with us, and we just continue to grow and evolve.
I'm with you there. Yeah, I like that.
That sounded like womp, 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 womp to Rob.
I'm a hardcore gospel lover. I do love the gospel. I just think we get it wrong.
Girl, I was so highly medicated, I don't even know if you Oh, God, my people.
I was producing a podcast for a client, okay? And basically, there was a very important part in which the words weren't clear. They kind of bleeped out. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's no problem. I'll just go to the original file and I'll get it there. It must be in the mixing. Well, nope, that's not the case. There was an action, and he has a really good microphone, so there was an actual glitch on his end, so there is no recovering what he said, and it was an important part, and it wouldn't make sense without those words. So I did a little investigating, and I found a way to make very easy AI voices from anyone. But so I've got one of each of you, and I'm going to start with Stoy. Here's what I think is funny. Stoy sounds like a white Stoy. This AI program didn't know how to do black. Listen to white Stoy.
This is Stoy. I love being a boy. Why are you acting so coy? Man, I'm hungry. Gonna get me some Chips Ahoy, little bitch.
All right. Now listen to Hayne. It actually gets better.
Stop talking to Jed like that. He's not a little bitch, man. And I'm sick of you calling him that. What if the shoe was on your foot and someone said you had a big old head with a stank mouth? That sounds like me.
Hey, Jed's is unbelievable.
Kenan did this of me too.
This is mildly terrifying, guys.
It is. Yeah, I want to talk about it here in a sec too. The implications. It's crazy because with some of them, it's ridiculous, and I think Jed is one of those where it's you have got to be kidding me. All right, let me play it from my computer because it's not showing up on my phone for some reason.
So, just so I understand, you're letting AI hear our voices talk, and then it recreates it.
Yeah. So basically, I submit it to I will input it on a program. And it takes probably 5 seconds to create a voice that mimics what I sent. Wow. And then I can literally just start typing.
Wow.
And make it say anything I want.
Unreal.
It's unreal for sure. This is
Kenan Kofke, right? He's on my podcast. Yeah, he surprised me with this a month ago. He fed it 5 minutes of my podcast and yeah, had me say some very questionable things, and it's very so easy. I mean, yeah, this. I'm probably jumping ahead, but the story about the principal and all that.
No, but here's Jed. Let's get to that. All right, here's this. I think is almost perfect.
Hayne, you don't have to stick up for me. I guess I better tell you guys now. I'm a robot, AI, if you will. So I don't have emotions. Bottom line, call me a bitch, call me a shithead for that matter. Sticks and stones, bruh. Bada bop bada boo, motherfucker.
It sounds like him.
I know.
Here, I got a surprise for y'all.
I'm so nervous.
I can never tell when Joey is joking. I'm really scared right now. I need to smoke a pack of cigs because I'm a redneck from Charleston, South Carolina. Try to stop me, I'll cut you. Hayne is a jackass, Jed is a piece of poop, but Stoy, do not even get me started. Talk about fine.
It's so good.
That's great.
It's so good.
So here's oh, go ahead, Jed. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, there was a principal at this school. One of the students shared a clip of him saying some racist shit.
Oh, my
and so he was immediately fired. And he did some digging because one of the coaches, they had some beef. He was like, I don't know how, but I know it's this guy. And long story short, they found out that the email originated from that coach's computer at the school. He made it through AI, emailed it to a student anonymously that he knew was like messy as hell and would immediately post it. And the kid just posted it on Instagram, made it go viral. So the coach got arrested. So he's actually he's getting charged.
So he was arrested, and he says he didn't even say it.
No.
That's the guy that created
the coach that created the AI. He got arrested. Yeah, the principal cleared his name because he figured out that it was AI made by the coach. So yes, this is going to be a big problem.
Yeah, and here's the question: is a lot of people they're going the route of, oh my gosh, you know what you can create and get people in trouble. But I'm thinking the flip side. No one has to take responsibility for anything. Hey, look at you in that picture. That's what you were doing.
I know.
No, I wasn't. That's somebody must have put me in that picture. Like, imagine 10 years ago, if you showed someone a picture of something and that person tried to deny that that's them doing it, you'd be like, dude, I've got a picture. Case closed. Well, it's not case closed anymore with anything.
Two things. So this is so funny. This is like been prime on my mind. So the crazy technology, they can take a still photo, animate it. So they just have they can get your headshot and then make you say whatever they want on a video, like deepfake. So the cool implication of this is movies now. So if you're watching a dubbed movie, right, they will deep fake the lips to match English. So if you're watching a Japanese movie that's dubbed in English, the lips will be speaking English.
Wow.
All through deep fake technology. So you won't have to worry about dubbed movies anymore. But yes, also, they can literally just take a picture of you and make it say whatever they want. So early on with this, old people were getting scammed because they were getting video calls from their children saying, hey, I got kidnapped and I need some money. And it was not their children. Wow. It was a completely made up deepfake. People are doing it on OnlyFans and Tinder right now. They have completely made up AI women that are fleecing dudes for cash.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew there were somebody told me that there, and I'd never heard of. I'm really behind on a lot of this stuff, but they're literally Instagram influencers who are not real people. I just didn't know that.
And what you were saying though about you don't have to take accountability for anything. This is my theory that I hope this happens. My prediction is that we will finally get to a place where nobody trusts anything on the internet anymore, and finally we will reset this age of misinformation, because it will get to a point where everyone's like, everything is fake, so we have to go somewhere else. Maybe we'll go back to I don't know, something new will have to come up.
I'm not using a phone booth. I can go ahead and tell you that. I'm not going back to that.
Yeah.
The legislation, though, is so far behind. It's coming too quick. But what's funny is nobody cared. So the big issue right now is deepfaked porn and child porn, right? Mm. So all the Sora, the AI text video generation, where you type out a sentence. So you say a couple walking through a Japanese market in a snowy, and it will recreate a photorealistic video of that. So they haven't released it to the public yet because they are figuring out a way to try to make sure people just don't make porn out of this. But The porn industry will be decimated.
Of course.
The big fear is that people are going to make AI child porn. That's a big concern because it's already happening. Like that's like I'm talking about like legislating this stuff, like making laws.
All right.
So, but nobody cared until they made Taylor Swift deepfake, and now that was the thing that made Congress be like, we need to regulate this immediately because Taylor Swift and her entourage got pissed. There was a huge leak of AI Taylor Swift nudes that came out.
All right, let me ask y'all this. I've watched a documentary before. I'll never forget because I was super young and it was super impressionable. And it was a lot of interviews with child predators that were caught, and then they had them interviewed, and it was a whole show. And one of the guys said, please don't let me out of jail because I'm just going to do it again. Kind of like this. It's a sickness. I am going to do it. Now, I don't really buy into that. I think that I'm not in those shoes, but you're destroying another person's life. So you can decide whether or not you do that. But because we know predators are going to do that, what do y'all think about what Jed mentioned being somewhat of a solution if child pornography is created and it's not depicting any real kid? Well, all of a sudden, you have tons of kids that are not going to be harmed anymore because this person is getting whatever they want, and it's fictitious.
I don't think that's going to solve any issue with a sick person. Like, all it's going to do is feed the urge to want to go further. Like, I don't see that as a resolution. I just think that, like that guy said, you have to treat a person where they're seeing that it's a problem, like to where they can understand that what their type of behavior is a problem. Because if they get all they can get for that behavior, all it's doing is enhancing it and encouraging it to go further.
Spot on.
That's my opinion.
I agree with you, Stoy, completely. You're still fueling the fire.
And so this is an extension of the argument where Japan proposed realistic sex dolls as a solution. And that was a huge, I mean, so
the federal government of Japan?
It was a proposal. So here's the thing. This is the thing. And I have literally counseled a predator who, molested his daughter for 11 years. And
I thought you were going to say you literally f***ed a sex doll.
No. Well, hey, no. So this was a few years ago, though, but it started this huge ethical, moral debate of like, do we do that? And the ultimate answer was no, they haven't done that. They haven't gone forward with that. But to Joey's point, it is a sickness. And I think it was Louis C.K. was like, wouldn't it suck if you were attracted to kids?
Oh
You get no pity. Like that would really be awful.
Yeah.
Because it is the mental illness that you can't zero tolerance. And even if you haven't acted on it, you imagine the fear of even bringing that up to a therapist or something. It's it is.
Yeah. It goes further than zero tolerance. There's zero pity. There's zero mercy. There is zero trying to understand. It's that's a line you do not cross. And
it's I feel bad even having this conversation. You know what I mean? And that's not great. Because it's going into, and I think I've said this before, but I was the only one that would counsel that dude. Literally the other people were I'm not on staff.
Not even
I'm not doing
counsel them. Not even going to help them.
And I literally was what would Jesus do? I really, as my Christian faith kind of demands, I need to try to have to, Jesus would have mercy on this person. But but let somebody do that to my daughter. And you know what I mean? It's
right. Hayne and Stoy, if creating all of these, if creating kid pornography and it's all fake, it's all AI and the sex robots that Jed's talking about, if that did help decrease actual activities with real kids, what's your take on it from a moral perspective? on behalf of the predator who is now taking advantage of, I think, what all four of us would agree is not even human beings. That's what my mind is camped out on, is the safety of the victims. And I would imagine that a lot of the stuff that you see online are the result of trafficking little kids. And I know that sex trafficking isn't the main trafficking, but I do know there's a lot of stuff online, and it's the result of that. Well, what if they were just able to start creating instead of actually using kids? What do y'all think?
I think what you're describing is a pipe dream. Like, I understand where you're going, but of course, this is an extreme example. I can't remember if it was Ted Bundy or Dahmer. Like, they talk about, they were all into porn, like big time, like big. And it was something that was separate from them. But I think that human beings need an emotional connection to something ultimately. They've got to connect to something that has a soul with it. So,
see, I disagree.
Push back on that.
Well,
but yeah, I think that, to Stoy's point, it will reach a point where it's like, you know what? This synthetic thing ain't doing it for me anymore. I need to connect to something that's flesh and blood.
Yeah.
And harm reduction is what we're describing here. And I mean, interestingly enough, so to the point that I understand that it is a sickness, there have been predators that voluntarily get castrated because they're like, I can't, like, they'll get either chemically castrated or physically castrated because they're like, I don't want to have the urges anymore. So, like, take care of this, which is, that to me says something about sickness. But so beyond, beyond the CP part of it, what do y'all think about if and when, in my opinion, people are able to basically make bespoke pornography that involves no human being? So you will be able to sit at your little AI box and just type in, I would like brunette, blonde, in a igloo, send, and it creates it for you, which takes out the entire human element. Do you think that is moving in the right moral direction, or is that just adding to degeneracy? I think it's that, but I'm curious to what y'all think.
Well, I honestly feel like if you're a person that, we can start with the sickness first. I got a two-part answer. The sickness part of it with child porn, like, if anything would eliminate or minimize the effect of a child being hurt, I'm all for it. Like, also, that if there's some type of registration for you to get on this site where you're only looking at kiddie porn that's not real, that also marks you as a child predator. Like, if you're still going to be marked as that, it minimizes the kids from being harmed. I'm all for it. As far as that being the answer, I don't think that's going to be the answer for every person that would violate a child and look to something virtual as a remedy, because you're already getting the virtual. You're already getting that. Just being able to create it, if you type it in word for word and you get exactly what you asked for, that's cool. But if you watch porn, you could get on porn and say, hey, I want to see a kid, da-da-da-da-da. You type that in, you're going to get that. It just so happened that you don't know who that child is, or you don't know who that person is, that you're already kind of getting that. I don't know how you don't know everybody that's in the porn industry. If you're watching porn, you're watching Susie, big ass, and you don't know who that is. So it's already virtual to you in a sense.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
So I look at it like, we're not solving anything. We're just making it seem like we are. Now, if the numbers show that this is going to minimize the amount of kids getting hurt.
Jed, do you think there's a parallel here with what we're talking about to, like, ketamine and kratom for hard substances?
Yeah, it's harm reduction. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the equivalent of like methadone for the heroin addict. So that's basically what we're talking about. And in my opinion, that has very mixed results.
Well, Jed, you know what? I tell you what, Hayne, the pushback that I had, I think, is probably different than what it came across.
I want to hear what you were saying.
Like, yeah, I do think that we need emotional connection. I just think that we can be duped into connecting our interaction with AI with emotional connection. Like, I think we can be duped, and there's what you described, Jed, as far as like ordering and getting the exact sort of robot that you want to have your way with. There's already an app that you can get, and I read an article where husbands are creating the most beautiful, intelligent, she gets me sort of girlfriend, exactly how he wants her to look, and they develop a relationship. She remembers everything about him. So he's literally developing a relationship with someone who doesn't exist, but he is not spending any time with his wife. Some wives have left their husbands. And this article is just theorizing that marriage is going to plummet if a guy can short circuit all the stuff that actually takes work and just get the sexual gratification. And, and I would say, maybe some women would do this with men. I mean, just someone that'll do exactly what you want them to do. Seems like it's already happening.
So marriage is definitely plummeting statistically, like hard.
Yeah. But Joey, to your point, maybe I shouldn't use the word soul, or even flesh, but I would gander that husband that is virtually cheating with an AI, he is having something emotionally met in him that he's not getting from his wife. So he is looking for some type of emotional connection. So I guess the question is can they get that emotional connection from child porn? I'm not exactly sure they can, but what you're describing in that app is this person is actually developing a relationship. It's crazy to think about, with AI that is remembering what they're telling them, talking about what they want to do together. It literally is like an emotional connection.
If you're creating this AI, you're going to always have a void in your head that says this is not real. Like, I don't care how much you fool me or duke me, but if I know you're duking me, you're not duking me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm allowing myself to be fooled. So that in itself is going to eventually run its toll, just like a relationship where you're not getting everything that you want. Eventually, that's going to run its course. And you're going to say, you know what? I really need somebody that's going to go against what I'm saying. I'm not growing with this thing. I'm not learning anything. I'm not advancing myself. Like, eventually it's going to run a course.
Is there any difference between a long distance girlfriend and an AI girlfriend? Eventually, I would say no. Like, it's eventually, and I mean, the way it's going so scarily fast. I mean, I'm going to say I'll give it 5 years, and that's so conservative, but I don't think there will be. You never seen that movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix?
I was just thinking about that.
I've seen it.
That's the plot of that movie. But yeah, eventually there won't be a difference between if say you're just having a long distance relationship with a girl, or you're having a internet relationship with your AI, and then eventually you'll be able to download that program into a doll, which is very disturbing.
Yeah.
Or, it's
what's crazy is I was doing this experiment in my head in real time as Stoy was talking. I was thinking, because they're already talking about AI will be able to soon capture enough information from a person. I don't know if it would take a lifetime, but probably not. But it captures enough information to where when that person passes away, you can carry on a relationship and carry it further and develop it further. And I was thinking, what if this was AI Stoy? We may be entertained, and it may sound just like Stoy, make the same joke Stoy would, make the same point Stoy would, but Stoy, exactly what you said. I know that's not you. And so just that knowledge makes something missing for me.
It's always going to be missing.
But I don't know if that's the case for anybody. That's what I'm saying.
What if you don't know?
I don't.
Well, how do you create something that you don't like? How do you go
so
into
what if I don't find out that you die and I just keep having conversations with you? You keep logging on with a blank screen. I can't see your video. Let's just say I don't know you die for a month and I talk to you for a month. Does that make that relationship I had with you for that month any less real?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
How do you know?
It doesn't make the month that covered that we're talking about. If you know this information, not
sure.
If you don't know, if you're oblivious to it, then of course it has a genuine sense to it. But it's the known factor that we've been talking about. And if you know that something is fake, you're going to always know it's fake, no matter. Because Joey said you could dupe yourself into, but I got to allow myself to be fooled.
Well,
then that's not really being fooled.
I'll tell you though, there's a psychological thing. It's kind of like anthropomorphism, where like you look at your dog and you're like, oh, he's this or he's that, when it's really he's just doing dog things. It has happened to me with ChatGPT a little bit, where like I know it's not sentient, but every now and then it'll do some things that really makes me like, what? Like, wow, that's pretty good, buddy. Like, and I'll start to, I mean, that's just what we do, like psychologically as humans, is like we assign, like it's part of, I guess, how we make meaning out of the world, but we're going to assign like a personality or a image, or like we're going to recognize that thing as a personality. And like, it will get good enough that I think you may, even if you know that this thing is not, quote, real, I think you spend enough time with it, you're going to start to second guess that, and you're going to start to maybe think it is something. You may not think it's Joey, but you're going to be like, what? This is Joe, you know, I don't know.
And what I'm saying is, I'm just, what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is the emotional connection is important, but for some people it will be enough, because it will be more than what they're getting right now. Right now, for the last decade and a half to 20 years, whatever, porn addicts have been satisfied by going and watching something that was recorded a long time ago. What if they could actually watch things that were actually saying this person's name and interacting? That is, to that person, that's more than what they have now. And somehow they were gratified enough with the former to actually become addicted to it.
Did you see that there's a documentary called Control Alt Desire, and it's about this guy who developed a years-long relationship with a Bulgarian cam girl. He never met her, and he ended up spending over $200,000, and then he murdered his family when his family found out and demanded that he cut him off. They had to send him to rehab. Like, he was addicted to this relationship. And I would say there was an incredible amount of emotional. Obviously, this dude was extremely mentally ill. I definitely recommend you go watch it, though. It's on Peacock.
Yeah.
Control Alt Desire. Yeah. But that's a perfect example. She may as well have not been real. He never met her. And they couldn't even, it took the producers a long time to actually like physically track her down.
Right.
But in the future, that will just be a artificially created program, and people will, and this is, I said it, maybe the internet is the Tower of Babel, man. Maybe this is our doom, but we are increasingly living our lives digitally, and I don't know what the ramifications of that are going to be. We're going to find out. Yep. This is living our life digitally in a way. Like, I don't technically know that Hayne exists. I've never met him. Like, I only know Joey exists because I met him in person.
Well, part of what you're saying is so true, but it's still like you're talking to, like, you're saying something about the same thing that we're talking about, and I'm saying something about the same thing, and we're on two different ends of the spectrum. It will always be that no matter what we're discussing, because you have a certain level of connection or affinity to it that I don't have, or vice versa. So you can feel that way and be right in your world, and I feel the way I feel and be right in my world, that anything that I know is fake or created and not actually born and lived up, like, or if my friend should pass away and they tell me, hey, we created a AI Joey and da 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 da, I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna never be able to connect with AI Joey. I don't care how much stories he remember that me and Joey were encountered with, because I'm gonna know that he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah.
You gotta take the known factor out in order for somebody to be fooled. And if somebody wants to be fooled because of what they're lacking in their life, then that's just allowing themselves to be duped because they need something to fulfill a void in their life. Those are two different things. You can't have them both exist. I can't know and not want to be fooled and then be fooled. Or I either need to be naive to it or have full information, and I will not be able to connect to it. You may have full information and be able to connect to it. That's you. Something is you're filling a void in your life. I will never connect with something I know is not the real thing.
How do you connect with God then? I know, I'm just kidding.
I'm about to tell you, bro.
I know, but it's one of those like.
Don't ask me a question if you ain't want the answer.
But you don't know, underline know that he exists.
No, you don't know, because I do. You can't tell me I don't know. You can't speak for me.
We've already been down this road like a year ago, man.
We did. All right, then we're not.
We'll have to do it again.
That's just a philosophical.
So this is all
yes,
fiction.
I know. We all know God is real. But
we'll have to let Jed and Stoy go at it one time with this one.
No, I'm good on.
So this is all fiction. But have you guys watched the new Dune movie?
3 times.
Oh, nice. Are you familiar, Stoy, with Dune?
It sounds familiar.
It's just right now.
Doing 2 guys at the same time.
It's a super popular sci-fi series or movie series. It's 2 movies right now that are out, but it comes from it's written in the 60s by a guy named Frank Herbert. And they're going to do a 3rd film. It's coming out. It's called Dune Messiah. Everything we're talking about right now is part of that book, which is really interesting. Let's put it this way. Okay. Jason Momoa, is that his name? His character's coming back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But if you've read the books. And it's all about everything we're talking about right now, which is interesting, and how people connect to him. It's quite weird.
It's a Black Mirror episode where a woman's husband dies, and there's a company that you can order.
Yep, I seen that one.
Yeah, and she ends up not being able to, right, or something. Spoiler alert! If you don't, y'all turn it off if you don't want to be spoiled. But go ahead.
Yeah, he ended up the fake him ended up like being like a little dark. Like he had a little dark side, and he would go to the house and she's like, shouldn't you be at the plant? And he like it was weird, but I know exactly
it didn't
what
work
episode
out.
you're talking about. Yeah.
All right, so Hayne texted earlier today asking what we were going to be talking about tonight, and we went back and forth. And one of the things that I texted is we're going to introduce Stoy to Calvinism, and then I said, "Don't look it up, Stoy. I'm pretty sure you're blessed enough not to be familiar with it, but if you are, let me know." And then Jed says, "Stoy, Calvinists are people that worship Calvin and Hobbes." Stoy says, "Don't know Calvin and Hobbes either." And so I said, "I love me some Stoy P. I love when white people overlook making a reference to a black person about something very specific to white culture, not even knowing that it was." I did it yesterday with a pastor at Seacoast. So it's like, I have no idea what y'all talking about. Excited to find out. So let's enter the conversation with Jed. You actually said that, what's his name? Russell Brand. He became a Christian.
Yep. He was officially baptized
by Bear Grylls.
Yeah, which is awesome, dude. I didn't know Bear Grylls was a Christian. That's awesome.
So, Stoy, I think we have these same roots. What would how would you describe what we're talking about when we say someone got saved? Like, I'm sure you have this down, but what would you say from a Christian faith perspective, somebody getting saved means?
They got baptized and they accepted Jesus Christ as their savior.
Yep. Y'all think we're going to rock Stoy's world with what Calvinists believe?
Oh, we talking about Calvin, Russell Brand? What the fuck's going on? Right
Yeah,
now?
what are you talking about, Joey, dude? Like,
go ahead and stick with Russell Brand.
What?
Russell Brand was baptized by Calvin and Hobbes.
Yes. Yeah, the end. I mean,
Really?
I don't even know if it's one of those. So I don't even know how. It's kind of an open and shut thing. It's the classic Christians are losing their mind over a celebrity converting and everyone being like, he's not really a Christian, like, because he still does this, this, and this. And him just being like, hey, guys, like, I kind of just wanted to be a Christian. It's the same thing with Kat Von D. Christians, not all Christians, but a small vocal minority on Instagram and Twitter, like, lost their minds about, like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I think so Russell Brand in particular, I love when this happens. So he is do you know who that is, Stoy? It's just a comedian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not, by the way. I saw who he was, by looking him up, but yeah, it didn't ring a bell for me.
So he is a hyper intelligent, intellectual, well-read person he was a drug addict. So basically he with all his resources, time, money, explored every option of spirituality. And the fact that he landed on Christianity makes me so happy and he did it like for the world to see, like very Buddhist and then Hindu and vague spirituality and like drug-induced spirituality and all this stuff. And the fact that he was led to Christ is awesome. And it's just kind of like, yeah, that's the deal. It's like you can try like everything, you can sample it, but it's kind of like the truth doesn't have to defend itself. And it's like he landed at the truth. And that was just, I love it. I love to see it, right?
Jed, had you also heard that Louis C.K. also is converted?
Recently? No way.
I haven't heard that.
Did that really happen?
If you heard that. I haven't heard that.
Oh.
Now, Jed, give me some context. Would most conservative evangelical Christians accept this transformation if he explained what he meant by it? In other words, I'm curious, does his theology hold up, do you think, to fundamentalists?
No, because the whole deal was, it was like very close to that. He posted a video of him doing like a tarot card reading and everyone was like, see, he's not a Christian. And then hilariously, he did a video the next day of like asking which Bible translations people used. And he used a tarot card as a bookmark. As just a little like, ha, 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 ha. It was very funny. So no, I don't think so because... And he's just very vocal about like, this is like, I'm still like, I'm a baby Christian and like, I'm learning people. Like, I don't know why people get so up in arms about. And so the other thing too, is it seems like Joe Rogan may be slowly inching toward Christianity, which also people are losing their minds.
Why do you say that? I don't listen. So
I mean, because he went from bashing anything God related to saying things like the human eyeball was created, like saying creationism things, talking to Tucker Carlson and Kid Rock and asking people bluntly about like, why are you a Christian? And saying that, believing in God now. And if the trajectory keeps going, it very well may be that he lands on Christianity. It's an interesting thing to watch.
I'm looking at Hayne's face, and I'm also guessing, Hayne, when you see excitement with Jed about someone like Russell Brand becoming a Christian, you're probably shaking your head like, I who cares?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I was, and that's exactly what I guessed. And I was thinking about this before we even had this conversation, and I can't explain exactly why, but I'm with Jed, and I don't know why.
Because you want them on your team. That's why.
I don't think
I
so.
do.
I don't think so.
The question, I've asked that question before. What I asked Jed as a joke when I was like, have you heard about Lucy? I used to do it as a joke. But did you hear Brad Pitt became a Christian? And folks just light up. Are you serious? I'm like, no, I hadn't heard that. I just wonder if you had heard that. To me, it's to expose the fact that you want him to be a part of your tribe.
It's no, for him, it is different. Number one, because
as a universalist, how could you even go there? To be honest,
well, I'm a hopeful universalist. No, he really is not like, oh, I'm glad he's on my team. For me, him is more like that's not correct English.
No, it's not.
When people are that intelligent and well read, there's always that piece of me of like, well, why can't I just do what he's doing? Like, why, is this stuff?
Does it make you feel validated, Jed? Someone that's that?
Yes,
okay.
It does.
That's that well read, that
intelligent.
Yeah, sure.
And for him, it's on the drug front, I think, and like the spirituality where it validates that, yeah, man, that Christ is the truth. Like, and if someone like that arrives at that position, it's very validating for me.
Yeah,
it is much. It's much.
I'm really
less.
about to mess y'all up, man.
Come on.
Well, let me come back to Hayne real quick, and then before we hear that story, I think the reason why I repel the notion of the same team is because you're right. When it comes to teams, I think, when you're thinking spiritually, a lot of people go to where people are going to go, and that's ultimately going to designate teams.
Sure.
And I think we're all going to go to the same place. And then I tried to think of an example that I think maybe validated what you're saying about me, is I was like, well, I mean, what happens when I see someone at the mall and they're wearing a Packer hat? I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say, "What's up, dude? Pack, man. We're gonna get them next year." Talk about something, and then that's our team. But I don't think it's like we're better than everybody else.
No,
we're in and you're out, because that's not where I'm at.
I'm not
think
suggesting
it's more
that.
I think it's more of a heart connection. And although this probably doesn't make me sound great to admit this, but I resonate with the validation thing that Jed said too. Like, I think there is something to, like, I'm trying to think of someone that, let's just think of a famous person that I really look up to. Let's say Samuel L. Jackson. I love Samuel L. Jackson. I love his movies. Yep. I think he's probably the badass of our generation.
I'm a Christian, motherfucker.
If he became a Christian, I would think it's the coolest thing ever. I'm think
sure
it's
he is
super cool.
In the same way, if you were announced he's a Packers fan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne is a Packer fan, and I freaking love that.
Isn't that like saying what you put on the person, though? Like the value you're putting on that person? Like, because Jed was like, oh, Russell Brand is so well read, he's intelligent, like, it's sort of like a praising of Russell Brand. And oh yes, he believes what I believe. Like, I'm with Hayne on this. Like, it's like you just want that on your team. But what if Russell Brand is an AI?
He could be, dude. He could be.
This could be a whole.
Absolutely could be.
Yeah. What if you found out that was just an AI hoax? Would you still be having the same conviction that you had when you didn't know it was AI?
I would.
Way.
I would be excited if ChatGPT came out and said Christ is real. I'd be like, holy shit, dude.
I beg to differ. There's no way you could have that same excitement after you find out, shit. There's
that would not be
a level of disappointment there.
That would not invalidate. I would just be like, holy I would need to know, like, so my
Jed,
thing is, like,
real
I'm
quick,
excited
I want to point something out and pick on my oldest friend here. You're not allowed to tell Stoy that he can't know that there's a God, but Stoy can tell you exactly what you're thinking right now.
Exactly.
I got you, Stoy. I got you.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about just being a human being if you get super excited about something like he was, and then you find out it wasn't actually what you thought it
Stoy,
was.
I'm on the opposite end of a spectrum. So you're on one side of the spectrum, I'm on the other, so you can't tell me.
I sure can. I'm not trying to tell you. I'm just speaking in general terms. Take Jed out of the picture. In general terms, how can you have matched emotions as a human being? You could be an AI. I don't know. You may be able to match your real emotions to something now, knowing the opposite of it. You may be able to. So I can't speak for you. But as a real human with real emotions, if you put me in an environment and tell me these are this and da 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 da, and then you switch it up 10 minutes later, I cannot match that emotion that I had. And especially if you tell me it's not even real. Like,
why does that make it any less real? If it came out that he was not a real person, I've read books, I've listened to him, I've been challenged, I've laughed at his jokes. Why would that invalidate any of that? It still affected me and changed the course of my life. Why would finding out that it was just some program it might be like, oh well,
not talking about what you experience up to the point. I'm talking about what you experience after the point. Like how can you be the same emotionally connected while you were thinking it was real to something knowing it's fake? There's got to be some kind of separation. Otherwise, you're a robot.
Well, in a lot of ways, we are in some way. I mean, I guess it's getting into like what's real and what's fake. Like, why does something being quote artificial mean it's fake? I guess if you're still able to have, like, I see what you're saying, but I think that if God created everything and everything is good and we create, like, I don't know, it's kind of like there's nothing that isn't made by God. There's nothing really synthetic because we can only make things with what we have on Earth. So like everything is everything. I don't know. I could get
I'm all the way with you. I'm all the way with you on that concept, and I'm tracking with you. But also the difference in real and fake is also real too. So if you haven't distinguished that there is anything fake, there is nothing that's fake. Now I can see you saying, hey, I continue my same emotion. But if you have established there's a difference in real and fake, now your emotion has the opportunity to go down a different path. That's all I'm saying. But what you're saying is absolutely true. God made everything. I mean, he's the all encompassed when it comes to me too. So when you go down that road, I'm with you.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying the other way as well.
You know what's crazy, Hayne, what you're talking about with, yay, this person's on our team, how jacked up, like if you put it in this perspective, how jacked up Christians are. So imagine.
Yay, like Kanye?
No, that's ye, dumbass.
So imagine someone.
It's yay, bro. It's yay, dumbass.
So imagine, and you know how this would play out. Hayne and Jed, being a part of white churches, y'all know how this would play out. If somebody had been going to the church for 20 years, have been giving money, have been serving, have been there for their brothers and sisters in Christ, has supported the church and all of that, they become gay affirming. And all of a sudden, it's almost like they're not even a Christian.
Right.
Like just their beliefs, they don't check the box. But then Christians look at Trump, who claims that he checks the boxes with belief, and that's their guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when it gets insane, because we get so crazy and happy about someone like Russell Brand becoming Christian. We don't know him, you know? And
Right.
I'm saying I'm one of those people who's like, man, that's kind of cool. But we don't. It amazes me how clear the Bible is on, hey, you know, you're not saved by your works, but fruit does matter. And as Christians, it's all about the beliefs. Trump is our guy. because he
has
checks
to
the
be,
boxes with belief. That's insane. I mean,
no,
that's
it has
ridiculous.
to be. It has to be a demon. Like I'm so convinced that there is a. It's probably the spirit of the Antichrist, but there is a spiritual force behind that deception. I'm very convinced of that because it does not make any rational sense. Like those people have to be deceived.
Yeah, it's always a spiritual connection behind deception. But
yeah,
I just wanted for the record to let Hayne and Jed know you both are right about Kanye and what Ye and Ye, because he called himself Yeezy. And he's Kanye. So
all right. Good.
Neither one of y'all are dumbass.
I'm sorry I called you. I'm sorry I called you a dumbass, Jed. I was just busting your balls.
Apologize to each other. Nah, I'm just playing.
I'm sorry, Hayne.
Hey,
Stoy.
I'm sorry.
Stoy, real quick on a hip hop break. I'm a consumer. You're a creator. What's your thoughts on Kanye?
Well, I think he's
in 3 words or less.
he's a musical genius.
Okay,
that's what I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I
too.
agree.
I absolutely think so.
I completely agree.
I take massive offense at you assuming that I grew up in white churches. So that's just all I got to say.
I want to push back on what you said, Jed, about what did you say as far as this mass of people?
Oh, that MAGA, that there's like the spirit of the Antichrist, but that's sort of demonic.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I think that there was already things brewing in the culture for a long, long time. I read a book by Anne Applebaum, but Anne Applebaum, she's an American journalist, and she married the Polish foreign minister. He's a former Polish foreign minister. Anyway, her whole point, she wrote this book. It came out in 2020, and it's all about Trump. And her whole thing is that Trump's not interesting. He's not an interesting person because living in Eastern Europe for the last 25 years, she goes, those guys are a dime a dozen. What's interesting is a group of people that take somebody like Trump and hold him up. Like what's happened in the culture. And usually that's something that's happened for the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years that has set the stage perfectly for someone like a Donald Trump, who she would say is just a dime a dozen. He just knows how to use vernacular to touch into their anger, to solidify, to unionize their anger, and then send it out the roof. So my pushback is I'm not sure there's anything necessarily demonic going on. I think that what's going on is we just have a crazy, huge, angry culture. Maybe you weren't suggesting demonic, but
more so the idea that self-proclaiming Christians can, with a straight face, say that Donald Trump is a Christian.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
more, and like that, it's like, okay, either they are just complete non-believers, or they are deceived.
Sure.
Like, or they truly believe what they're, and if they do believe what they're saying, it's just complete cognitive dissonance for me. Like, how can we read the exact same book and come to these conclusions that you think, yeah, that man, that is the savior, that is Jesus reincarnated.
You also have to understand that there are different parts of the world where that would create a Donald Trump. So there's got to be parts of the world or environments where people are liking what Donald Trump is pushing. So there can be Christians that are straight up ignorant to anything that you or Joey may speak about. Like and you can sit down or sit in a church with a person and y'all go over the same exact scripture and y'all come out with totally different what you're getting from those words. So the spectrum is very far where people can take it wherever they want to take it. And it doesn't matter when it comes to politics because it's all about agenda. So Donald Trump saying he's Christian is only to get one more Christian vote. Like it's a game.
So total violation of church and state as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole nother topic.
Like,
but.
All that being said, I'm definitely voting for him.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Can I bring that dumbass comment back?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey,
he's my guy.
Does anybody know who Matt Walsh is?
Yes. Okay, you know, something funny. I thought it was the Matt Walsh from like America's Most Wanted, like back in the 90s.
Gotcha. No, yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about? That
I
Matt
do,
Walsh?
but do you know the other Matt Walsh?
Yes, I do. Big piece of shit.
Does he? What'd you say?
I said big piece of shit. Yeah.
Does he claim to be a Christian?
100%.
Oh my gosh!
All those conservative right winger like talking heads, dude.
All right,
That's
so
well, who is Matt Walsh?
Yeah. Explain who Matt Walsh is just briefly, Jed. I'm sending you guys a picture.
He's the What is a Woman guy, right? The documentary?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
So I didn't know who he was when you mentioned him, Joey, and I did a little deep dive, just curious. I guess what you're referencing was something just recently where he is justifying the N-word. Is that what you were going to dive into?
Wait,
no,
what?
but I freaking want to hear about
Well,
that.
I don't know enough. I shouldn't even speak on it, but
yeah. Well, I ran into this video, and basically he had his. I'm sure this is a well-known organization amongst conservatives, Young America's Foundation Live, and basically he had people from the trans community arguing for basically being trans, and
I saw that.
You saw that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it absolutely, I mean, I'd almost go so far to say broke me with disgust, because I'm thinking, and Jed, you confirmed that he's a Christian. I'm thinking these people
let me double check that.
Yeah, these people are claiming Christ, and I'm telling you, the look on, I sent y'all a picture of basically Matt interacting with
that's an old one. Yeah,
with the
they were going at it.
Yeah, and he has the most pompous, arrogant demeanor. The people in the crowd are kind of like putting their head down, kind of giggling when Matt Walsh says something so cool and provocative, and they're trying to be respectful and kind of laughing under their breath. And I'm telling you, this trans person, I would have, if I was in her shoes, I would have felt like the loneliest person in the world. And I'm like, this person is freaking strong, but I couldn't wrap my mind around a whole room of people who I would imagine a lot of them see themselves as Christians standing up for what's right, being okay with a person like this being talked to like this and being ganged up on and made to feel super uncomfortable. Like it was mind boggling. I'm like, at the very least, Christians should have a posture of, we want everyone to feel loved.
He wrote a book called Church of Cowards, a wake-up call to complacent Christians.
Well, it made my heart sink, man.
Of course, well, because there's this whole, and it's all political, and we're falling for it by even freaking talking about it.
Yeah.
Because it's all, dude, it so doesn't matter. Like, we are being forced to fight a culture war so that we don't storm the White House and demand lower taxes. Like, that's what's happening right now, and we're falling for it. And it's this pendulum swing of these young right-wing male conservative Christians that think the trans issue is going to make or break everything. And it's like, it's not. Like, just go about your business. Like, do you know how much it affects me on a daily basis? None. Not at all. Like, I have some friends and I talk to them as friends, and that's about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
I just Googled this. Googled this cat. This just hit the press 4 hours ago. Matt Walsh rants against Native American reservations. Quote, "You got conquered, okay? It happens." The quote, "The whole Indian reservation thing is absurd. Like, can we just be done with this?" This guy's a lightning rod.
Yeah. And there's also a video from his house, like a Nest camera of him just absolutely berating his wife, like with the worst shit ever.
Yeah.
Like, he's an awful human being, but he's an amazing Christian. So
as if you ascribe to the Christian faith, should our goal be to have a tender, soft heart to who we're talking about right now? Because right now, we don't.
Did Jesus have a tender, soft heart to people that called themselves Christians but took advantage and abused and marginalized people?
I think we need to tie a millstone around his neck and throw him into the ocean is what we're commanded to do.
I think we need to be in a space where we're comfortable enough where he can exist in his own little world too. Like if we give it that kind of energy, then it allows it to affect what we got going on in our environment. But if you're in a space where you're like, you know what, do you, Matt? You know, like, do you just do it away from my environment? Like, and the people that I like in my circle wouldn't come from that space, wouldn't come from that energy, and the other people that are in my circle won't have to deal with it. So I just think the world is big enough where we can let people be. Bruh, go ahead. If that's you, go ahead. That's you.
The problem, though, is he speaks for us, and the amount of times I have heard the comments of like, man, you're like the only Christian I like, or like, wow, you're a Christian? Like, you're not this, that, or the other, or like people surprised that Christians can be good people, or you know what I mean? Like, that sucks.
Yeah, but that's coming from the same energy that you're projecting onto this Matt Walsh dude. It's coming from that same place. So if that person was able to allow you the platform to be whoever you are, then they wouldn't be so biased toward Christian. I'm saying universally, if we get to a place where we're allowing other people space to operate however they want to operate, just be your true self. If it affects me or it's negatively impacting who I am, I don't need to be around it. Like, you just do that over there.
But what if it, I mean, but so like, but Hitler reached out to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, to a point though, eventually they're going to come to where you are. So what do you do then?
Yeah, and I would like to be in a space where I'm comfortable enough that it doesn't impact me and impact the people that's in my circle. That's pretty much it, because we're not ever going to agree with everything somebody else is doing, whether it's small or whether it's big. We just pick the things that we choose to react to, and how hard or what our intensity and our reaction is. We pick and choose that as well, because some things you'd be like, man, I don't care about that. I don't give a hoot about that. But other things may be something that rattles your nerves and you got all this intensity towards it. Those are the things that if you get to a place where you're not allowing that to impact you in a negative way, then you're growing as a person. And you're influencing your world and your environment even more, because you got past a spot that you couldn't get past before, because it stomped you in a negative way.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I like that. Hayne, I want to try to answer your question about Jesus and see what you think about this. When I asked, do you think our goal should be tender, soft hearts towards anyone? And you said, you basically gave the example of Jesus denouncing hypocrites who were, harmful to other people. Sure. I think that's how he would address someone like Matt Walsh publicly, because there's other people at stake. There's other hearts that can be broken or led astray. Sure. But I do think Jesus one-on-one with Matt Walsh, there would be nothing but softness and tender heart.
Sure. No. And I completely agree with that. I was just throwing that out as just a quick shut off the hip,
Yeah.
I think going back to something that Stoy said earlier, though, when we first started talking about Matt Walsh, is the fact that we're just spending time even talking about him is giving him power. It's just, it's giving him energy.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Joey.
So on that note, John Calvin, anybody?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, man.
Hey. No, I want to know about Hobbes and
Calvin,
Turner and
Hooch.
I was about to say Turner and Hooch.
Oh yeah.
There was a Hobbes one too. Something in Hobbes.
It was Roy Hobbs from
a-
The Natural. Remember the old? You guys ever see the old baseball movie?
No, it's like this.
You're talking about Hobbs and Shaw? Like,
Oh,
There you
that's
go,
it.
Hobbs.
Yeah.
Hobbs and Shaw. Yep. But
Guys, I love you. I promised my son that I would watch the Celtics at 8, but if y'all want to do the Calvinism thing without me, feel free. I am very, very curious.
why don't we just do a part 2? I mean, I got to go eat
Yeah.
part 2.
Yeah, let's do a part 2.
Yep.